On Thursday, the Broward Shire Sheriff's Office space liberated more than data on which happened how date, consisting detailed information and quotes drawn up of high school live video and wireless traffic. All times are East. Environment, February 14, 2:06 p.m. Crews conducted an Uber vehicle. 2:19 p.m. Uber car tablet crews close Marjory Stoneman Douglas Top High School in Park. A eyewitness supposedly dots crews inbound in a golden-colored car and alerts a fellow via wireless how crews was walk deliberately in the direction the 1200 house. During a min, he hears gunshots and accountable a coding red position, and busy marksman. 2:21 p.m. The suspicion enters the high school's east staircase of House 12, in a gun within a dark gentle instance. While he exits the staircase, he pulls the gun out of the instance and begins shooting. He supposedly sets off the high school's flame alarm signal a min after, motive the vacuum of several 3,000 students and personnel. Investigators trust the suspicion requested to paint human beings out of classrooms to growth the quantity of human loss. The suspicion begins survey in 4 persons' classrooms. He conducted L's staircase to the other story and supposedly young growth 1 sacrifice. The marksman uses a .223 caliber AR-15 style gun to conduct out the slaughter. As the high school goes on strict isolation, students get lid within classrooms. Other leap above fences and flee to get orphanage in a neighboring Walmart. Several students lyrics their favorite ones and other position on public print images of chairs inverted in classrooms and floors tarnished in bloodstream. 12 human beings are annihilated within the house, 2 external and 1 in the road. 2 other die at the clinic. 2:22 p.m. High school source Vice Scott's Peterson is closed the high school's authority house. At first 911 urge is done, to town of Coralline Springs Communication Center. 2:23 p.m. Peterson is seen on live video header to House 12. He advises, be informed we include probable, could be firecrackers, I believe we include shots fired, probable shots fired, 1200 house. Peterson is closed the southwest angle of House 12 and northwest angle of House 7. He appears to remain there for the survey. Coralline Springs Flame Division is shipped to high school. 2:25 p.m. A Broward Sheriff's Vice says shots are heard by the soccer box. Peterson telephone call for the high school to be blocked downward. The Vice accountable students by the soccer box mind down there were firecrackers, yet we're not certainly. Peterson tells the Vice, we as well heard he's by, within the 1200 house. 2:26 p.m. Coralline Springs Police Force official asks sending on probable busy marksman. Official is said 911 channel are blast upwards. 2:27 p.m. At first Coralline Springs official arrives at high school. Peterson says to do certainly no one comes within the high school. The bandit conducted the house's east staircase to the tertiary story, wherever he tablet the gun and rucksack. Later, he rest downward the stairs. The suspicion exits House 12, rest in the direction the high school pong courts. 2:28 p.m. Seconds following crews foliage the house, Peterson says, Broward, do not attitude the 12 or 1300 house. Remain at low 500 feet off at the spot. Crews continues fleeing and ultimately mixes in the students and personnel fleeing out of the high school. On the Coralline Springs wireless, that cannot be heard by Broward Deputy Corps, the suspicion is outlined as a white man in an ROTC form burgundy jacket. 2:29 p.m. 2 Broward Shire Deputy Corps try to come the 13 house, but are incapable since it is blocked. A specification of the bandit is shipped out by Broward Shire as a man in a robe in an AK-47 or AR-15. Coralline Springs commanders are said 3 human beings are downward in chamber 1216. 2:30 p.m. Broward Vice says he is said of a suspicion perhaps within a 3-story house and tiring an ROTC form. 2:32 p.m. 4 persons commanders, perhaps of Coralline Springs, and 2 Broward Deputy Corps come House 12 via a western-facing doorway, on 11 protocol following the at-first shots. 2:36 p.m. More than law coercion commanders come house 12 via a doorway on the East Party. 2:50 p.m. The bandit arrives at a neighboring Walmart Keep, buys a sip at a Metro down there and walks of. 3:01 p.m. Suspicion goes to a neighboring McDonald's, wherever he sits downward for less than rather than a min up he walks of. 3:11 p.m. The FBI and many decades of police force vehicles answer to the survey. Live video shows several students lie on the land, creature purified for injuries, and excited in ambulances. White's Building Click Secretariat Sarah Sanders says CEO Donald Trump card was informed on the occurrence and is tracking the position. 3:15 p.m. The bandit is yet at Big. 3:40 p.m. The high school begins dismissing students. Buses get them to a inn, wherever they reconnect in their families. 3:41 p.m. A Cocoa Gulf police force official inquiring for the suspicion in a neighboring neighborhood notices how who walk on the party of the way is tiring clothes overlapping the suspicion's specification. Detailed information on the suspicion had been transferred via law coercion wireless. A eyewitness who had seen Cruz inbound at the high school preliminary to the survey identifies him at the detention position. Authorities had as well identified the suspicion with high school safety videos. The official approaches the suspicion and arrests him out of occurrence. He is undertaken to the Broward Public Health Polar Clinic since he has labored respiratory. Cruz is purified and liberated to police force guardianship. 3:50 p.m. CEO Trump card tweets, "My prayers and condolences to the families of the victims of the horrible Florida survey. No kid, tutor, or nobody else should always sense dangerous in an US high school." 3:53 p.m. Law coercion searches the high school's buildings to evacuation students of classrooms. 4:20 p.m. Broward Shire Social Schools Governor Robert Runcie says the high school acquired no warnings and how he was not aware of any threats versus the high school. 5:18 p.m. Government Haystack Scott wandering to Broward Shire to be informed on the survey. 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. to end of day, Cruz tells police force he was the bandit and says he thrown the gunshot. High school area officials say the high school will stay closed for the otherwise of the 1 week. The FBI sets up a website for students and other who were within the high school to download videos and photos of the survey. Law coercion officials searching Cruz's household and else unsolved position. Thursday, February 15, Cruz, who is creature detained out of ties, makes his at first trial exterior in Broward Shire via prison live video. He told anything besides to prove his behalf. Cruz is loaded in 17 counts of deliberate assassination in the survey.